So, Southampton 0, Manchester United 3, full-time reaction from St Mary's this afternoon on match day 4 of the 24-25 Premier League season, in which, in the end, it was pretty much a comfortable afternoon for Manchester United on the South Coast today. Southampton 0, Manchester United 3. A pretty much convincing and a pretty much nailed on 3 points from Manchester United today from a Southampton team that have been absolutely abysmal since they've been back in the Premier League. And yeah, I'm good. Thank you for asking in the chat. I'm really good. Thank you. It'll be good as well. Yeah, Southampton have been absolutely abysmal since they've been back in the Premier League. 4 defeats from 4. Rock bottom of the Premier League and conceded yet again another 3 goals today, which I did say in the look ahead for this game that Southampton defensively do concede a hell of a lot of goals, and that is exactly what has happened to Southampton today. And I noticed you, Ashton. Hope you're good, mate. Yeah, Southampton have been on the backward march since they've been back in the Premier League. And I think push comes to shove today, a heavy defeat from them. Basically, I think it's going to confirm that they will go straight back down to the Championship. And when obviously I saw the Manchester United team news, I did have a few concerns. I did have a few moments of thinking, how the hell are we going to win this game today? And I thought, you know, the lack of midfield options and the lack of attacking options going forward as well was going to really, really cost us pivotally today. But I think in the end, a 3-0 win, we can't take much negatives away from that performance today. I think Manchester United were the stronger team in the first 40-odd minutes. I think with Southampton going 2-0 down at halftime, I think the game was pretty much nailed on that Man United have got the 3 points. But you can never be sure where you head into the second half, knowing you've got quite a comfortable 2-0 lead. And a 2-0 lead can become quite comfortable. But if you concede an early goal inside the second half, you don't really know what's going to happen from them. But I think, you know, Southampton in the end, they did in the first 35 minutes, they did start to create a few numerous chances on the Manchester United goal. And I think Man United in that first 35 minutes were really starting to struggle. And I think, you know, Southampton were the better team going forward in the first 35 minutes. But I think, you know, what helped in the end was that Onana penalty save. And you've got to be quite thankful that Onana has saved that Callum Archer penalty, because I think if Manchester United go 1-0 down, we are on a downward spiral for the rest of this weekend, because you've got to question, you know, the penalty decision. I've looked back at it. I don't think that's a penalty. I think for me, the challenge is from outside the box. And quite clearly, it does show that foul is not inside the penalty area. How that's been given a penalty, I don't really know, to be honest with you, because from my view, it looks like the foul is from outside the box. But I've been saying many, many times about, you know, Diego Dalot, of how awful defensively he's actually got. And I think, you know, I would expect Dalot to be in a much better defensive position than to throw a cheap penalty away, where if we go 1-0 down, we are going to be on the back foot for the rest of this game. And I think, you know, that penalty save really, really helped Manchester United in the end to get these 3 points, because if we go 1-0 down, Southampton will be all over us. And I think, you know, where the result probably would have gone if that penalty wouldn't have been saved. But you've got to thank Onana for making that save, because, you know, we've been quite critical of his goalkeeping performances in the last few games for Manchester United. But I think, you know, making that penalty save, it does show that I think he probably did have a good international break with Cameroon. Obviously, kept 2 consecutive clean sheets. And I think, you know, that penalty save will obviously help him and his confidence going forward as our goalkeeper for Manchester United. And I think, you know, Dalot has got to be quite thankful that if that penalty doesn't get saved, I think Dalot gets absolutely ripped into. And I've always been saying that Dalot at left back is never, ever going to work. I think we all know that on paper, that Dalot needs to be so much better defensively and going forward as well. But I think being put in at left back, it does show quite a lack of ability from his position in that back four, because if you defend like that and you concede a penalty the way he did, you are going to get absolutely, you're going to get slated by the media. And I think when we gave that penalty away, I think the reaction told quite quickly that we've been crying out for changes in this team. But obviously we have got no left back because Luke Shaw and Malacia are both still injured. So I think Erik ten Hag again has got no choice but to put DALOT inside that back four, because like I said, Luke Shaw is injury prone, Malacia is injury prone, but I think DALOT has got off very, very lightly today, thanks to that penalty save. And I think from that moment onwards, I think Manchester United were absolutely solid. I think we had the best number of chances to put the ball into the back of the net. Obviously, in those first 35 minutes, you do worry and you do panic that where do you think Man United are going to be able to find the ball into the back of the Southampton net? And again, it comes through our new centre-back signing in Matthijs de Ligt. And I think the way de Ligt has been treated by the British press and the way he's been treated on the international break by Ronald Koeman, I think it's an absolute disgrace the way de Ligt has been treated by the British media. And I think it's an absolute disgrace the way Ronald Koeman has absolutely crucified him on the international break for the Dutch Netherlands team. I think it's an absolute joke that, a player like that quality is being treated the way he is. I think it's a lack of respect. I think it's a lack of dignity. And I think it shows quite a lack of naivety to criticise a world-class centre-back who won the league title at Ajax in his first season, went to Bayern Munich, won the title in his first league season, and Juventus went there and won the title in his first league season. And the position he gets in, obviously a great ball from Bruno Fernandes inside the Southampton penalty area. De Ligt is in a real comfortable onside position, gets his head onto the ball and comfortably puts us 1-0 up. And you've got to praise de Ligt for his whole game and his whole attitude going defensively for Manchester United. It shows the world-class centre-back that we have at this football club. And it shows the quality he's adding defensively and the leadership that we finally have inside that Manchester United back four, because that wasn't there last season. And I think, Manchester United have really, really improved that back four massively in the summer transfer window. And I think adding a player like de Ligt, it shows that we don't need Maguire, we don't really need Lindelof, and we don't really need Johnny Evans. And I think all three of those players' careers are pretty much nailed on, are over, because they're not getting any game time now. All three of them, well, 2 out of the 3 are on the bench every game for Manchester United now. But it also gives them a strong message to Victor Lindelof that you're not going to be part of the plans, because de Ligt is the centre-back that Erik ten Hag clearly trusts. I think what he's done so far for Manchester United has been nothing more than miraculous. I'm not surprised by Matthijs de Ligt. I've seen him for Juventus, Ajax and Bayern, and I see the quality he's added into this Manchester United back four inside, two matches already. I see that defensive quality already that he is bringing to that back four. That back four looks a lot more comfortable with him in it next to his mate in Lisandro Martinez, who again also today you're starting to see that centre-back partnership really, really transform Manchester United's style of play. And I think that is crucial going forward for the rest of the season, that we keep those two fit. The only problem is de Ligt picked up a knock and Martinez also picked up a knock today, which is extremely, extremely bad luck again, that Manchester United are struggling with injuries and we're only 4 games into the new Premier League season. And I think for me, that's quite worrying, knowing that we already are picking up a numerous number of injuries. And if that injury list keeps on getting higher and higher and higher, and it's mainly the back four that are going to get the problems defensively, and we've got no centre-backs left then, because if you lose, you've already got YORO out, because YORO is still injured. If de Ligt and Martinez have got really bad knocks, and I'm praying that they aren't bad injuries and they aren't bad knocks than what it looks like, then we are basically left with Maguire and Johnny Evans for God knows how many games and God knows how many number of weeks. So I'm kind of hoping that, they didn't look like they were struggling, but it looked like they couldn't carry on. So obviously, clearly, both of them have picked something up in the latter stages of that game today. I know, we've got to hope for good news. No news is bad news. No news is good news. We just have to wait for what the Man United medical staff information that they give us. But I think if both are injured, it's going to be bad news. But again, let's wait and see what happens. But I think, I think the little game did not put a foot wrong. And again, I think for me, if we have to give a player of the match to somebody, I think it has to go to DALOT, because I do not think today he did anything wrong. I didn't think he made any really bad errors. I think DALOT is absolutely solid for this back four. And he was the type of centre-back that we've been crying out for, God knows how many seasons. We've needed that centre-back at this football club. And I think Man United have gone and got Erik ten Hag, the player. Obviously, they recognised that the back four was a complete weakness, and they saw the lack of ability of Maguire, Evans and Lindelof. And they also saw that, an injury-prone Varane, that had to go. End of his contract, free transfer, went to Como in Italy. Injured already, out of the Como registration for Serie A this season. So it clearly shows that DALOT was a very, very, very sensible signing. And I think the British press have got a massive responsibility to pay DALOT an apology, because they've absolutely crucified him. They've basically called him the Dutch Harry Maguire. And I think, going based on his performance today, I hope the British press has sat there absolutely licking on their wounds, because I think the criticism DALOT has been given is nothing more than a shambles. He doesn't deserve the criticism he gets. He doesn't deserve, the lack of praise. And, for me, he offers quality in that back four that's been missing. And I think, he puts in a more solid job than Maguire. He does a more solid job than Evans, and he does it more than Lindelof. I mean, Lindelof's injured, probably will never play for the club again. So I think DALOT is going to be an absolute masterstroke of a signing, because the back four is solid now. After today, that back four knew what to do. They did their job basically for the whole 96 minutes that we played today. And I think, DALOT was, for me, the main standout in that back four, because he puts his body on the line. He puts a tackle in. He's not afraid to, give his all for the shirt and for the badge. Like, you don't see that type of other mentality with certain centre-backs in that team. He is putting his bloody head on the line here, because he knows, I'm going to Manchester United here. I've got to be able to show the money they paid for me is a good one, because if I don't start performing, I'm not going to be in that team. It's just frustrating he's gone off with that knock. And if that knock continues to keep getting worse, if that's a bad injury, we are basically back to square number one, because we have then got Maguire and Evans as our only two starting centre-backs left. And again, that's frustrating. I think Ten Hag is going to be looking at this thinking, how many more injuries are we going to keep on getting? Because if I lose any more of this back four, I'm down to scraps. I've then got really nothing left to put up a centre-back partnership out there on the pitch, where I've lost YORO. If I've lost DALOT and I've lost Martinez, what the hell am I going to do? And I'm hoping they might not be bad injuries. I'm just, trying to reassure everybody that, those injuries didn't look bad. They didn't look like they were in absolute agony. But I think, United did not want to take any risk by playing them on, and they couldn't continue. But something's clearly happened, and both players have felt it. So, that in the end, it's been a very, very positive afternoon. I mean, even, when we found the second goal, I think, and we'll talk about that now, I'm really, really happy that Marcus Rashford is finally back on the score sheet for Manchester United. Like, I was very, very concerned with that start 11. Do not get me wrong. I was very concerned, where are the goals going to come from? Because again, we got the confirmation that, Garnacho wasn't starting. And you've got a question again, why is Garnacho not starting games for Manchester United? And again, it still does frustrate me quite a lot. I want to see Garnacho starting for Manchester United. I want to, see him in a United shirt in the starting 11. But I think maybe, maybe that comments that Ronaldo made about Ten Hag this week, which everybody has seen, that, Ronaldo has gone in absolutely in on Erik ten Hag. He's gone absolutely in on him. And obviously Erik ten Hag has responded by saying, he's far away from Manchester. He's entitled to his view. He's entitled to his opinion, but we know what we're trying to do here. And again, maybe, and then we saw Garnacho like the Ronaldo comments that were made about Erik ten Hag. And we've got confirmation from Romano and club sources that Garnacho liking that comment was nothing to do with him being on the bench today. I think for me, that is PR. I think for me, that is in the bracket of bullshit. I think United have seen it, and they've seen that Garnacho was like the comments that Ronaldo has made about Erik ten Hag, and the club aren't having it. The club aren't going to have any shit against this manager. They're clearly still standing by him, because I think today is a positive result for this football club, and hopefully this will, take us a bit more forward and a bit more progressive into the rest of the season now. I mean, I know it's only Southampton, but a win is a win. You've got to take the 3 points, and you've got to take the positives away from today's game. And I'm happy. I mean, it's nice to actually have a rest of the weekend now that I can actually enjoy, because 2 weeks ago, I was sat here when we lost 3-0 to Liverpool, and I was absolutely fucking fuming. But today, I'm a lot more positive. I'm feeling a lot better myself today. Had a bit of a blip yesterday, but I'm okay now. But I'm a bit more positive today that we've got the win, we've got the 3 points, and it's going to be a great rest of the weekend, because you've got the Grand Prix tomorrow in Azerbaijan. I'm looking forward to that. Everybody knows I'm a massive Formula One fan. But yeah, it's been a very, very positive outcome. I was just a bit frustrated with the way that team set up today, because I do feel Ten Hag did set us up to fail, because you've got a question. Why are certain players still getting the game time? Like, I wouldn't have started Rashford if it was me today. I would have started Garnacho, but we might not have found that second goal. And I mean, it's been over 190 days since Marcus Rashford last found the back of the net for this football club. It's been a long, long period of time that it's took Marcus Rashford to find the net. Like, it's been like this since March. He's not scored since March. And today, I think it's a great strike outside the box. I mean, it is a great, great goal to get us in a commanding 2-0 lead. But I felt, for me, in my view, he did have a chance before that goal, or was it after that goal, to make it, was it to make it 2-0 or to make it 1-0, that he had a one-on-one with Aaron Ramsdale? I would have liked to have seen that gone in. I think, he should have gone with a low and hard shot into the bottom corner instead of trying to find the front post. But I think, he's taken his goal very well, and it is a great, great strike outside of the Southampton penalty area. And again, it has gone in off the post. You've got to be thankful that it's found the net and it's not gone out for a goal kick, because I think going in 1-0 at half-time, I think the nerves would have been there, thinking, where's the second goal coming from? And again, to go into that position of comfortability, it shows that, Rashford, hopefully, this goal now and what he's been doing will show that behind the scenes he is trying to improve, and he's trying to get back to the Marcus Rashford that we all know and love. And hopefully today, this will transform the rest of his season. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping now this goal will take Marcus Rashford on to a bigger and better season, and he'll start finding the back of the net more on a more consistent basis, because a goal's always a positive. Like, he came out of the comments yesterday and he feels like United legends have been bullying him. I don't think they're trying to bully him. I think they're basically just trying to, they're criticising with a view and opinion that obviously, a lot of these legends talk a lot of bullshit, and we all know who they are. Rio Ferdinand, Paul Scholes, Gary Neville, etc., etc. And I think Rashford's not like the comments that his commitment and his loyalty is being tested. And I think, he doesn't like it that, when he's playing bad, he gets absolutely crucified for it. But I think today, what he's been doing behind the scenes, he's doing extra training sessions, and he's trying to do more to get him back to the level he can be. Because Marcus Rashford on his day, he's an absolute problematic player to stop. He gets behind that back four, he will cause you several big problems in your penalty area, and even outside your penalty area, he will cause you problems. But I think, the second goal in the end really, really helped Man United going into halftime with a comfortable lead. Let's try and build on it, and let's try and be a bit more consistent in front of goal, and let's find the back of the net. But I don't think he had a great second half. I think, again, there was one or two chances that he did have that did cause Southampton big problems. I think there was a save from Ramsdale and a deflection over the Southampton bar for another corner. But apart from that, I wasn't really that convinced by him in the second half. And I think the substitution of, Garnacho for Rashford was probably the correct thing to do in the end, to freshen that front three up, because I still think we're lacking goals. I think in my view, we're still lacking a lot of creativity up front. I think, you know, ZIRKZEE had 2 good chances to find the back of the net today. And I don't know what's wrong with ZIRKZEE. Like, I'm not trying to bring down the result. I just think, is adapting to Premier League Live already showing that he can't do it? Because I think he had a good chance inside the first half that Ramsdale saved. And he had a chance late in the latter stages of the second half. But I think it was blocked by the Southampton player, Haywood Bellis, who had to be brought on because obviously moments before that, and it's a disgusting tackle, by the way. The Jack Stevens red card is an absolute red card. It is a nailed-on red card. That is a dangerous, dangerous tackle. That could have caused Garnacho a serious, serious fucking injury. And I think the referee and VAR have absolutely got that correct. I think the sending off is a clear sending off in my view. And I think, it's the correct decision to send that player off, because if that's given in a yellow, that's an absolute disgrace. That is a clear red card in the rule book, because the way he's gone in and the way and with the way he went in on the challenge in the first place, but it's also the position of where his foot was. His foot was so high above Garnacho's knee. And I think that, again, is naivety from Southampton. You're in the latter stages. You've got all your men on the pitch. Don't put in a stupid tackle that is going to cost you a red card and potentially get you sent off. I think Jack Stevens has absolutely lost his fucking head. And I think for me, he deserves that red card. Southampton are down to 10. And again, that really, really did not help in the latter stages for a Southampton team that are a complete and utter embarrassment. How this lot got promoted is a joke. But their bigger and better players should be standing to attention and taking a bit more responsibility for their actions. I think Jack Stevens should have gone in on Garnacho the way he did, and should have put his head on and got his brain working. Do not do a stupid challenge that is going to cost me and this team a potential sending off. That wouldn't have helped Southampton, because you're already 2-0 down. Do not lose your head and concentrate. But it's a moment of bloody madness. And again, I think it's a red card. It's a dangerous tackle, and Southampton go comfortably down to 10 men. And then the chances then we had, it could have been 4 or 5 in the end. And again, we've scored 3 goals. That's the main thing. We have scored the 3 goals that we've needed. And I think, in the end, I think Southampton deserve what they get. I think, when you had a clear chance in the first half to score, and again, I don't know why Callum Archer was allowed to take that Southampton penalty, because it got confirmed from the commentators that ball had been on the penalty spot for 51 seconds before Callum Archer stepped up to take it. If that was me, I would have swapped the penalty takers around, because the ball has been sat on that penalty spot for so long before you've stepped up to the plate to try and take that penalty. I think you should have changed penalty takers. And I think you should have probably changed it up, because if Callum Archer misses, that's a glorious chance gone. Because what did Southampton really do after that? I think for me, that is where Southampton's heads were gone. I thought they expected Callum Archer to score that penalty. And I think for me, they expected to go 1-0 up. And they thought, well, Onana's not been great this season. Let's try and fool him. But I think Onana's guessed the right way. And again, it shows that with that decision being so long to take that penalty, because it did get checked. And again, I think VAR have had a nightmare with this decision. I don't think, for me, that is a penalty. I think it's outside the box. I don't think it's a penalty. How that has been given, I don't think is fair. I think VAR have had to have... for me, I'd go back and look at that, because I think the tackle from DALOT is outside the penalty area. And I don't know how that has been given as a penalty. But again, VAR is VAR, and the refereeing standards are like in the Premier League. It is beyond shocking how bad the Premier League refereeing has actually got now. But again, I personally think if Southampton go 1-0 up, United are on the back foot. I think for me, like I said, I wouldn't have let Callum Archer take that penalty, because if you miss this, I think the game's gone for them. And I think for me, that is where it went wrong quite quickly. I think, expecting to score that penalty. You're always expecting to score from the penalty spot. You're 12 yards out, aren't you? And you're kind of expecting this has got to go in, because if this doesn't go in, how are we finding the back of the net? And that is Southampton's biggest problem, is finding goal scorers in that team. They don't have a common goal scorer in that team. You can have Ben Brereton Diaz, you have Callum Archer, you can have that Marcus Stewart, who was at Sunderland, and he was scoring a load of goals for them. He came on in the second half in the latter stage for Southampton when they made 5 different subs. But I think, again, the game was lost them as soon as they missed that penalty. I think the heads were gone, the heads dropped, the morale dropped. And again, this is the way Southampton are under Russell Martin. I think the more bad results Southampton get, the more chances of he's going to be out of a job quite quickly. And I didn't say he would be the first manager gone. I thought Maresca at Chelsea would be the first manager gone. But I think in the end, I think Russell Martin has got 2 or 3 games to save his job, because I think if Southampton start getting cut adrift, then Southampton are going to be gone quite quickly, and they could be gone by Christmas. I think if Southampton, by the end of September, beginning of October, or the middle of October, if they don't start finding results and they don't find the back of the net, Southampton are going to be absolutely doomed. And again, I hope you get relegated, because that playoff final was an absolute nothing more than pure luck. Leeds had the better chances to get up to the Premier League. They should have won that playoff final. They bottled it, and this is why Leeds is still in the Championship. And they deserve to be there. Leeds do deserve to be in the Championship. They're not fucking good enough anyway. They've just lost to fucking Burnley today. So that shows quite a lot. And we should have been playing Leeds today. I think Southampton, it was nothing more than pure luck, in my view, that they got to the Premier League in the first place. But again, they're signing overrated, overaged, done players that, again, aren't going to help Southampton going forward. I mean, Adam Lallana, an ex-Liverpool Brighton reject, who's no longer good enough, was brought on in the latter stages for Southampton. Ryan Fraser, an ex-Bournemouth reject, was brought back in on a free. I think Southampton have got it badly, badly wrong. And I think if I was their fans and their supporters, I would be getting a little bit concerned, because that dreaded bottom line, the more you get cut adrift, the more chances are that you are going down. And I think Southampton will get cut adrift. I think they will be gone, and they will be gone very, 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 very quickly. And again, I think that is down to Southampton's poor piss-ass ownership for not backing Russell Martin. I think they needed a better manager than Russell Martin, to be fair. I think they could have done with a lot better than that. And I think this is why Southampton are struggling to play the football that they want to try and play, because they've come up from the Championship. And the problem is, where's the Premier League quality? Where is that Premier League quality? Adam Lallana and Ryan Fraser, for me, are and really at this moment in time for a Southampton fan, they're the only 2 players you've really got to be able to offer you any Premier League experience. But you look at that rest of that Southampton team, there ain't no quality in it. And I think, again, if Southampton carry on playing the way they are, they're going to be gone by Christmas. And I hope they go down, because they're absolutely shit. I think some of these promoted teams are nothing more than a complete joke. It probably, except for Ipswich and Leicester, to be fair. I think, again, they've both done all right so far. I think they've not got the points, the result they might not have wanted, but at least they're not in that bottom 3 like Southampton. It says quite a lot where the standards are of certain promoted clubs. But I think, back onto United point of view, I think, it was nice to see Garnacho get on the score sheet, because I'm one of Garnacho's biggest fans. I want to see him become the next Ronaldo. I think, he took his 3rd goal very, very well in the end. And again, we made a late sub, because we obviously had to take off DALOT, and we had to take off Martinez, and we took Mazraoui off, and we brought on Maguire, Casemiro, and Johnny Evans. And again, I think the Southampton back 4 defending absolutely fell asleep, because if you see the free ball that Casemiro has slipped DALOT in, no one anticipates that DALOT is going to make that run into the Southampton penalty area, and he plays a great low cross into the Southampton penalty area, and Garnacho smacks it in to make it free. And again, it seals all 3 points, and it's a great run from DALOT. It's a great anticipated pass from Casemiro. Again, I was quite surprised that we didn't have a proper CDM starting today. Again, I was quite concerned how ERIKSEN gets ahead of CASEMIRO and gets ahead of UGARTE, because I think we all know logically ERIKSEN hasn't been the same player since that tackle from Andy Carroll. And I think that was in the FA Cup 2 seasons ago. He put in a really, really bad tackle on ERIKSEN. He got sent, and he was at Reading at the time, and he got sent off for it. And I think we all logically know that, I think ERIKSEN's time at Man United is coming to an end. But again, I thought in the first half, I thought the midfield was getting run through. I think the midfield was lacking any defensive quality in the CDM role, because ERIKSEN is not a ball winning midfielder. He's a centre attacking midfielder. And I think him trying to be that CDM role, I thought, again, you're going to have to hope this doesn't backfire, because Ten Hag is picking the team. Ten Hag is picking this Man United team, and it's the best to go with. And obviously, maybe the issues of Casemiro is what he saw against Liverpool. He didn't want to take that risk today. And it kind of did pay off in the end, not starting Casemiro. But I think, we do need that CDM role sorted again. And I think for me, if the midfield was getting run through in the first half, I didn't think that helped by starting ERIKSEN. And I don't think it really benefited MAINOO or Fernandes, because that midfield was just getting run through by a quite youthful Southampton team. They've got quite a few good youthful players in that starting lineup for Russell Martin's side. And I think they were just running trees around us. I can't believe how bad that midfield performance was in that first half, because the only decent bit of midfield quality came through the Bruno Fernandes assist to get de Ligt's goal. If that doesn't happen, then I don't understand how this midfield is ever going to work if we don't have that CDM role ever going to get sorted. And what I'm quite pleased with is that we got that 2-0 lead, because if we go into 0-0 at half-time, there's going to be a lot more questions and answers being given, because the midfield was just not offering anything going forward. I thought MAINOO looked absolutely terrible today. I don't think he was brilliant. I mean, one or two bits of good passing here and there, but I don't think that was helping him by knowing ERIKSEN's role as the CDM option. And I don't think it really helped Bruno. I think we need a quicker, versatile, more defensive CDM in that team. And I think, I would have started an UGARTE today, but apparently he hasn't had many training sessions and felt ill over the international break. Again, I think that's bullshit by saying basically, again, was Ten Hag's comments right 2 weeks ago that he's not Harry Potter? It may take UGARTE weeks. It may have to take UGARTE months to settle into this Man United way of playing and transitioning from a Liga 1 team to a Premier League team, where the Premier League quality is a lot more better than what Liga 1 offers, because you're basically having Liga 1 PSG, and that is basically it. You don't really have a lot from that. And obviously, please subscribe if you're new. Would really appreciate it. I was concerned of ERIKSEN starting. I think for me, I was really, really concerned. And I was having a chat with my mate Josh, a massive shout out to him as well, and a massive shout out to John. They're both really, really good mates to me. I was concerned with ERIKSEN starting, because how the hell is he going to do a CDM role where he's a centre attacker midfielder? He likes to win the ball, not be that defensive role. He's a more going forward midfielder than defensively. And I think that showed in the first half. And I think we could have really changed that up in the second half. But again, it's Ten Hag's decision to pick ERIKSEN. Maybe he's picking ERIKSEN based on this is his farewell season. This is going to be it at Man United, and he won't be here, because if the rumours are true that we are letting him go next summer, I think probably that's the correct thing to do. But I just don't think he's got the age. I think the quality is starting to drift. And I think when he's got a more youthful midfield options running at him, he can't track back. He can't really run back and defend, because he's having to do a CDM role, is try to get that ball moving forward from his position. I don't think that benefited us, and I think that for me that is why MAINOO and Fernandes really, really struggled. And we don't want that every week. I think for me, The only two real, the three negatives from that first half, I would say, is the Dalot tackle to give away the penalty away. And again, a lot of people know me. I do not rate Dalot, and I do not think he's good enough defensively. And even going forward, I don't see all this admiration for what Diego Dalot offers this Man United team. And I want to be proved wrong. I want to be shown that I'm wrong about Dalot, and I want him to be better. But I think for me, I think it's already time that we need to have a conversation about him as our long-term left back, because I think Man United should have signed a left back. I don't know why we didn't do it, but again, I think that's costing the club. And again, I've got no sympathy for that, because we got told we were going to sign a left back, but apparently the prices we got quoted for like a left back like Kirkes at Bournemouth, they didn't want to pay up. I mean, Alphonso Davies from Bayern Munich was available for about 20 odd million with 1 year left on his contract. United said no. We could have bought Reguilon back, and I see a lot of people saying we don't want Reguilon back. We don't want a short-term gap option. But I think, again, if you want to see calamity mistakes by Dalot, then, be my guest. But if you want that type of player throwing away a penalty for you, then United are going to get found out defensively week in, week out. And I don't want that. I do not want that at Manchester United. I don't want Dalot at left back doing a left back role when we need a left back. And I think United should have signed one. I think United are now paying the price for that. But again, that is Man United for you. They don't want to spend money when they go and get stuff. And I think that's been extremely naive. And I'm hoping I'm going to get proved wrong. I'm hoping that we get these left backs back sooner rather than later, because if Dalot's going to do that every week, then I've got big concerns about him again. But again, he has to start, because we've got no options. You can't put Johnny Evans there. You can't put Maguire there. You can't put even Martinez there. I mean, that got tried for Argentina in the international break. He was put at left back. It didn't work. So for me, that was the problem. I think point number 2 I take from that game is the midfield again is getting run through. This is why a quality player like UGARTE should have been starting. But I'm glad he made his debut. And you know what? For the first cameo, that is a player who's got instant quality written all over him. Some of the passes that he was making, some of the tackles he was putting in, that is a CDM role there. That is a CDM who is willing to go, is willing to give it his all, is willing to do everything in his power to make that role better. And again, you don't have to play a long period of time in a game, but the short cameo he had coming on that second half, I thought UGARTE was fucking fantastic. I think this is the type of midfielder, if United would have went from 2 seasons ago when we eventually got Casemiro, and again, the Casemiro to an extent in the first season worked, but in season 2, you'll get found out. In season 3, he's on the bench now, and Eriksen's now ahead of him. But I think what UGARTE's done already is shown this is the player that we've been missing and is going to absolutely transform that midfield. He already looks so comfortable in a United shirt. In the United performance, that little cameo for 5-10 minutes, there was a lot of quality added into that midfield instantly by UGARTE's arrival. That midfield looks so much better with a player like UGARTE, and he can pick out a pass that no one else can. And that, again, offers a lot of hope going forward for the rest of the season. And again, I'm hoping, because we play Barnsley now in the Carabao Cup on Tuesday night, I'm hoping he will start. And I hope he'll be given 90 minutes, because I think if UGARTE can do what he did in his first cameo today, bloody hell, we've got a world-class player here. And his age is on his side. His ability is on his side. He's got more youthfulness. Like, this is the end of Eriksen. This is the end of Casemiro. Like, even Mount to an extent, because Mount's injured. That's going to end all 3 of those players' careers at Man United. It will end them. It will end them, because they aren't good enough. I mean, it ended McTominay. It ended Hannibal Mabry, UGARTE coming in. Getting rid of those 2 has absolutely generated our midfielder options better. But again, I still think we need one more midfielder. And again, there has been conversations with Rabiot. And I'm hoping after today's result, I'm hoping we go and get this Rabiot deal done, because I think Rabiot would get ahead of Eriksen and Mount and Casemiro. I think he would start games for the club, but it would also give, rest to Bruno. It would give rest to MAINOO. It would get UGARTE and Rabiot starting games for Man United. That might really, really help. And I know a lot of people are against signing Rabiot, but I'm not. I would love to have a world-class midfielder that has been so good for the French national team, has been excellent at his career at Juventus. And I know a lot of people saying, well, his mum's involved in his discussions because he's his agent, and we are getting dictated by how much he wants a week and a signing on fee. But I've got no problems with that, because I think if we have another midfield option with the quality of Rabiot, that quality on a free transfer, you don't miss those type of opportunities, because if he goes to an Arsenal or Liverpool, he's going to get offered quality into their midfield straight away. And he's going to be shown that a quality player like that, we can't really take a miss on that. I'm fully wanting United to do it. And I hope this week we will sign Rabiot, because that would be the icing on the cake for me. Maybe we get it done by Monday or Tuesday. You never know what can happen. But, there's a lot of positives today. There's a lot of positives taken from that performance, that it shows the British media that De Ligt's a better player than Maguire, and the De Ligt hate will stop. I think it shows that we do need a midfielder, and I think Rabiot is the option we need to do on a free transfer. I think, the goal scoring is still a bit of a problem, because I was gutted ZIRKZEE didn't score. So I was really, really hoping that ZIRKZEE would get on the score sheet. And again, that is 2 games in a row that we are struggling to find the back of the net through a starting striker in ZIRKZEE. And again, that might just be down to the quality not being able to be given to him from the lack of creativity from the options on the wing. Again, we like to see Ahmad cut inside. We like to see Rashford cut inside. But again, I think, for me, there is a lack of service being deployed to our striker. And I'm kind of hoping ZIRKZEE will start finding the back of the net, because I don't think we're going to be able to change that team much on Tuesday night. I think, again, we will have to go strong against Barnsley, because we simply do not have the options. And I'm hoping we will go strong, because I think that's the right thing to do, in my view, is go with a strong team now for the rest of the season and pick your best team. And again, that was the only frustrating thing today. I felt like Erik ten Hag wasn't picking his best team. I felt like he was picking favourites. And again, that is in DALOT, that is in Rashford. I would have dropped him. But again, maybe starting Rashford of Garnacho was the correct thing to do in Ten Hag's view. But I think in the fans' view, we want to see Garnacho starting ahead of Rashford. And we want to see a Garnacho, ZIRKZEE and Ahmad front three, because it's more youthful, more of an attacking approach. But I think maybe that helped today, starting Rashford ahead of Garnacho. And it did pay off, because Rashford did score a good second goal to get us those points. And I think in the end, Ten Hag's probably got it right today. And I've not been happy with Ten Hag lately. I think a lot of people, saw me against Brighton and Liverpool, that I was deeply frustrated at how we lost both those games, because of favourites getting into the United team again, based on face of the club and all this. But I think Ten Hag, I think the midfield is still the big issue. And I think, I'm hoping the injuries to De Ligt and Martinez aren't serious. And I think ZIRKZEE's got to start finding the net. I think for me, those are the only 3 problems I've got. It's the lack of goal scoring from ZIRKZEE, the midfield with Eriksen and Casemiro. I'm hoping UGARTE will get in that team a lot more than those 2 going forward. And I think the back 4, I think for me, those are the 3 big problems I've got. It's the ZIRKZEE goal scoring situation, the Eriksen and Casemiro problem, and I think the back 4 problem, because if those injuries are bad to De Ligt and Martinez, we are screwed. I'm not putting a negative on the result. We've won 3-0 today. I mean, it was a commanding performance. We deserved the win. We deserved the points. I don't think Southampton would have too much to complain about. I mean, the penalty miss is cost them. I think that's the big talking point today. I think if Southampton score that penalty, United lose this game. But again, I think I would have changed the penalty taker in that situation, especially how long it has taken for that penalty to be taken. The ball's on the spot for 51 seconds. But you've got to be thankful that Onana has got DALOT out of jail. He's used the get out of jail free card from the Monopoly board game. he has got him out of trouble today. And you've got to be thankful that that's happened. Because if we lose, I don't know where we go from. I wouldn't know where we would have gone from today. I think there would have been the 10 Gap Brigade would have been banging its drum even more on the door. I mean, they probably would have got through the door and used a barricade to get through it. Or they would have used Captain America's shield from Fortnite to bloody put an hole through the door to open the door handle. But yeah, it's a positive result. It's a massive win, massive 3 points, and we're going up that table. And I think let's build on this. Let's take this positive into Tuesday night. I mean, the game against Barnsley's on Tuesday night in the Carabao Cup third round is on the telly. I mean, I'm thankful it is because I can watch it. So, yeah, Southampton 0, Manchester United 3. Great result for United and great 3 points. So I hope you enjoyed this live full-time reaction today between Southampton and Manchester United, finishing 3-0 to Manchester United today. Please hit the like button, the share button. Please keep subscribing to this channel, United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Hope you're all enjoying the content. We've got brand new games, brand new gaming content, brand new videos, brand new shorts, brand new live stream planned for these last few months in 2024 because we're nearly at that special time of the year again. Christmas is coming and it's approaching very, very quickly. So got brand new content I want to get all of you involved in. Please share the video, hit a tweet button, hit a retweet button. Remember to always remember the notification bell. You put that bell on at all times, you're going to see all this content that I've got planned. And I want to get all of you more involved as well. And if you want to get more involved, just give me a private DM on YouTube or whatever, and we can get some ideas flowing. But yeah, our next game is Tuesday night against Barnsley of League One in the Carabao Cup third round at Old Trafford on Tuesday night. We will be doing that preview in the early hours of Monday morning. Sorry, so look out for that. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Stay safe. Be nice. Be kind to each other. You're all legends. Southampton 0, Manchester United 3. See you on the next one. Come on, United.